Well, Bitcoin's the best performing asset for the past decade, and it's 100x better than gold, and it's 10x better than equity portfolios. So the volatility is the price you pay for the performance that you get. And oftentimes the best investment idea isn't the most comfortable investment idea. I think if I told you there's 100% certainty you're going to lose 7% of your money over the course of a year, you might think, well, I have a decade before I lose half of my money. I have time to think about it. That's the status quo when monetary inflation is 7%. If I told you there's a 100% probability that you're going to lose 20% of your money over the next year and half of your money over the next 3 years, well, you might think you need to move faster. Well, what if I told you you're going to lose all your money? What if I told you the currency is going to collapse to zero in 3 months, which is kind of what it did in Zimbabwe and Venezuela? Or what if I told you we're going to have 95% inflation? I think the unofficial inflation rate in Argentina is like 85% this year. What if I told you we're going to have hyperinflation? Everything will be twice as expensive next year. Now, how long would you wait before you took a risk? If I really want to, get you to jump out of the pot, right? I could just make it simple. Next Tuesday, I'm seizing all your money, or you can spend it between now and next Tuesday, right? That really, what is the word? Focuses one, right? Right, it stiffens one's spine and focuses one. If I just made it very black and white, I'm just going to take all your money next Tuesday, or you can spend it between now and then. So,
action.
How do you actually get comfortable with the volatility? Well, I think first you have to understand how big your problem is, and the second thing is one of time horizon. And what's your aspirational goal? For example, if you don't aspire to change your lifestyle one iota, and you're going to watch Netflix, let's take extreme. You're going to live in your parents' basement, watch Netflix, order Domino's pizza, and stream YouTube video for the rest of your life. Do you have an inflation problem coming? Probably not. If you want to buy your own house, you have a bigger inflation problem because houses went up 15%. If you want to get married, buy a house, have 3 kids, and if you want to take expensive vacations and have a house on the lake, you have a big inflation problem. Guess what? Luxury homes on the lake went up in price a lot. Yeah, so it really comes down to what is your aspiration, and that determines your hurdle rate. What you want determines your inflation rate, and your inflation rate determines your hurdle rate, and that makes a difference. I think in terms of historic metaphors, there's plenty. For example, my family came to the United States in 1736 on a wooden ship. Okay, and if you want to go study those voyages, they spent 8 weeks. Have you ever tried? There's not a single person that's probably got in a wooden ship with 3 sails for 8 weeks to cross the North Atlantic in order to come to America. The mortality rate is 2 to 5% on that trip.
Whoa.
The mortality rate to go from Europe to the Far East is 35%. It's insane.
Whoa.
1 out of 3 people that started the journey dies on the trip.
Whoa.
Okay, so we talk about volatility. Is Bitcoin bumpy? Is crypto? We're just talking about Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin is. There is volatility along the way. I think the risk and the discomfort today of owning Bitcoin is a heck of a lot less than the risk and the discomfort of getting in a ship or getting on a horse or, getting in a wagon or walking, right, or settling and doing what you need to in order to secure your civil rights and your property rights and your freedom. But there is an analogy. The only way you make the volatility go away is you make the opportunity go away. The reason you went west was because people weren't living there and you wanted thousands of acres to yourself to live a better life, right? And when you got there, you found that there was no one that had come before you to, to clear the thing, and build a house for you and give you running water and hand the keys to you and do your bidding. Because, you were going to a new place. That was where the opportunity was. So I think it's very quintessential to the American spirit or the entrepreneurial spirit or just the human spirit. What about immigrants? A nation made of immigrants. People went from a country where they had nothing to a country where they could have something. That's the story that you see over and over again. Is there volatility? Is there a risk? Yeah, always, right? Is there opportunity? Yeah. When do you leave? Look, the rich first sons of the nobles in Europe didn't come. Yeah. It was the poor, disenfranchised, the people that didn't have a choice that came, right? The Protestants left Catholic countries. The Catholics left Protestant countries. The poor left every country. Those who were, hoping for a better life came. And, if you're sitting wealthy with lots and lots of stuff and a comfortable lifestyle and a comfortable portfolio, you might not see the same impetus, right? You wouldn't have the same inspiration to do something. I think of Bitcoin as like that shining city in cyberspace where billions of people will eventually want to live, right? Instead of moving from Europe to America or moving from the old world to the new world or whatever, or moving from the planet to cyberspace. We can't move to outer space yet. I can't get 1 billion people off the planet and settle on a better Earth. But I can move 1 billion people to cyberspace. Bitcoin is property in cyberspace. It's 21 million city blocks in cyber Manhattan. The people that move there first, right, get to buy the land cheapest. And then, how many people will eventually want to live there? Well, unlike Manhattan, where there's a limit, there's really no limit. Why wouldn't everybody want to live there, right? I don't know that there won't be other cities in cyberspace that might meet other needs. I suppose if the Chinese, made it illegal to own Bitcoin, but there was a Chinese Bitcoin, there might be a Chinese version of Bitcoin in cyberspace, kind of like Alibaba, and Ant and WeChat kind of branched off from Facebook and Google and Amazon. So there might be some other digital dominant monetary networks, but Bitcoin is the greatest monetary network that the human race has ever developed, and it's certainly the dominant one right now, and it looks like it's going to continue to be the dominant one